back, you guys, to another video. I think today we're gonna do a story time. I've been contemplating, okay, on what to share with you during story time. I guess it's finally here. It's rather unfortunate that I chose to share this story. Per the title, yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about. All right, so in the year 2017, I was in search of a job, and I was working one time with a friend of mine, and we came across a poster, okay, that they were searching for workers. So this person happened to know one of the managers, and so he gave me the manager's contact to call him and inform him that I saw their flyer. I called this man, and if I'm correct, I think I called him around Wednesday, Thursday, and he asked me to meet him on Saturday morning at Medina. And I'm like, okay. So Friday evening, when I was about sleeping, I got a call from a friend of mine. He used to date my friend, so it's like they had issues, they had broken up at that time. And he told me that it's been a while he saw me, so he wants to talk to me about something. And I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. Tomorrow I'll be coming to Medina, so if I'm able to finish everything I'm there to do on time, I'll pass by. And he's like, okay. So the next day I woke up very early. I think I left home around 8, 9. Well, I didn't call the person first. I just sat in car, and when I sat in the car, I started calling this man, and he wasn't picking up. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go. Like, he knows that he's meeting someone, so he would definitely make it. So I wasn't bothered that I was calling him at the time and it wasn't going through. So I went to Medina. I got to Medina, and I started calling this man. He wasn't picking up. So I started getting a little frustrated because I'm supposed to meet you here and I'm already here. I've been calling, you're not picking up. So I was just standing by the roadside, like the side that leads to Westland. So I was just standing at that side. As I was there, a security personnel approached me and was like, why am I standing in the sun? And I'm like, oh, I'm meeting somebody here. And it's like, I should come and sit down. Like, I think it was a bank. And he asked me to come and sit down. So I went there to sit down. And as I sat down, I think it was around 10, 11. Yeah. So I sat down there, I think until it was 2 p.m. So when it was 2 p.m., they told me that they're closing up. I got up and I came back to stand at the roadside. The friend I'm talking about called me. So he called me and I'm like, I'm still waiting for the person. I'm standing here, I'm waiting for the person. And the person hasn't showed up yet. And he's like, okay. And I told him that my phone is even dying, so I'm gonna call the person a few times, and if he doesn't pick up again, I'll just leave and come over. And he's like, okay. So I called this person again and he didn't pick up, so I just left and went to my friend's place. From Medina to that place is a bit far. You pick one car, but it's a bit far. I think it's about, if I'm correct, it's about 20 minutes ride. Yeah. And I went to his place. So I got there, he welcomed me, we had a conversation, we talked about what happened between my friend and him. After the conversation, it was like there was nothing else to do. But then I had planned on going to rehearsals right from Medina because I didn't want to go home and then come back for rehearsals. I used to fellowship at Abofin. He asked if I like movies. I was like, oh yeah. And he's like, okay, then he's going to play a movie for me. He has a few things to do. I was like, okay, no problem. So he played this movie for me, and when I finished watching, time wasn't far gone, so I asked him to play another movie for me. And as I was watching the movie, by the time I realized time was far gone, I think it was almost 6. Yeah, I think it was almost getting to 6. When I was like, I have to go, and then he was like, okay. So he escorted me, I picked a car, and I was returning home. That day, I actually planned on getting a heel for church. But then as I was leaving, it was late. So I was like, why don't I go home and come back the next day or some other time? But then when I got to Medina Market, I felt the urge to alight. And I'm like, no. Why should I alight? Like, time is far gone and I have rehearsals. So let me just go. I'll get a heel some other time. and it's even late. I don't think I'll get the hill. Like I was literally speaking to myself in my head, you know. And I was just sitting in the car contemplating with myself, like, should I alight? Should I still be there? Should I alight? Should I still be? I'm like, if I alight, I would have to walk to where they pick the La Paz car. You know where I stay up? I'm supposed to pick La Paz. If I pick Achimota, I would have to pick another car home. So picking La Paz would be the best option. Now, if I decide to alight, I'm supposed to walk, and I hate crossing big roads. I'm supposed to go and cross this road or go use the overbridge. Like, nah, that's a long process. Let me just sit inside. And the car was inside, happened to go to where I was supposed to pick the La Paz car. So it was basically like a win for me. And then as I was in the car, I just felt the strong edge, like very strong edge to just alight. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I got down. So as I got down, I crossed the road to the other side. And the moment I got there, I saw this man selling these false heels. And I saw one that was very nice. I was like, wow, this heel is very nice. So as I picked it up, the man was like, this heel, a lot of people have been picking it up, but it happens to be very small on your leg. Well, when I tried it on, it fitted perfectly. So he was actually attending to somebody and he asked me to sit down. And when he's done with the person, he will attend to me. I'm like, okay. So there was a bench over there and I sat down. As I was sitting down, I saw a crowd coming. Like, it's like they were in fast motion, you know. So I was thinking maybe some people are arguing, fighting. That's why they're acting that way. And then I heard a woman scream, like, Munjani, oh baby, shit, like that kind of look. So I was like, I just got up. Like where I was sitting, the man, everybody was like just going, and I was confused. So I just got up and I didn't know what to do. Like I was just standing there feeling so confused, and I followed a certain woman. I didn't know where she was actually going. I was following her because I didn't know where to pass, like where to run to. So I was just following this lady, and this lady went to enter to some house. So when she got to the house, she was Alhaji, like, I was like, and she called the person for like a few times. The person didn't respond. It was like nobody was in the house. She just walked out of the house, and I was left alone standing there. I was like, what is going on? And then I started to walk back to the street. So I walked back to the street, and I was crossing the road to go to the side that I was initially buying the heel. So as I was crossing the road, like I don't know where this thing, I don't actually like it happened so fast. I don't know what it was. Something just hit a story building that was right like across the road and where I was standing. So as I was crossing the road, this thing just hit the building, and part of the building just collapsed. Like just right as I crossed the road to that point, the building just collapsed right in front of me. Like part of it, not the whole building, but a part of it just collapsed in front of me. And then everyone just turned and was looking at me. I was so still, like it felt like my emotions has just left me because I didn't know how to feel at that time. I was so devastated, like to be frank. And I was just standing there, like people were just running, people were just moving, and it was like my mind just went blank. Like I basically didn't know what to do, you know. So I was standing there, and I'm like, it just occurred to me that why don't I call the male friend that I went to see? And I called him, I started calling him, and he wasn't picking up. And I decided to pick a car and go back to my friend's place. I bought this trusky, and there were Christians in the car and Muslims. You could hear the Christians praying, and these Muslims were also speaking their language. Like I'm sure they were also praying or something. Yeah, something just came like boom behind us, you know, and everyone was literally running. I was just following the path, and I could feel I was so exhausted. So I got to a point, and then I stopped running. Now, so I was trying to talk to people, like, and nobody was actually willing to talk to me. Like they were literally looking at me like I'm some sort of disgusting person. Also drawn in tears, like, but then the tears wasn't just coming, you know. And I was just standing there, just standing, like it was like I was just tired, you know, because the whole thing that was going on was so difficult for me to process. And I saw another Shosky coming, and I tried stopping it, and it stopped. When I got into the car, the mate was like, we've met again. I just smiled. Clearly enough, they took the road that was heading to my friend's house. I was like, okay, probably they'll go and pass there. We got to a point, somebody was telling him that, Charlie, there's traffic day there because of the explosion, traffic day there. So, like, we can't use that road, so we should use another road. They used some rough road. This woman just stopped the car with, I think, the grandchild. The kid was trying to pick something up, and the mom was like, Fatu, Fatu, Bessin, you know, like, and they came to they came to board the car. So as we were going, at a point, we got to a point, other cars were after us, you know, other cars were following because everybody was trying to dodge the traffic and trying to get to safety, you know. So other cars were behind us, and as we were going, we saw that another thing has exploded. And this time around, it wasn't the passengers that got down. The driver stopped the car and got out of the car and started running, like, really, and left us in the car. We all got down. As I was standing there, this private car came to pass by, asked me to come and join them. They tried using a certain road, and this taxi driver was like, hey, mo de be free, but maybe you journey film, and I'm like more call. So when I heard that, I felt scared. I told him that I wanted to get down, and the woman was like, oh no, I should just sit inside, we'll be safe, like we'll be fine, I should sit inside. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, like they should just let me get down. And they were still insisting, and I also insisted that I wanted to get down. So the guy stopped and I got down. There were a lot of people there, and I was feeling so uncomfortable, so I decided to go, like, walk, find a place to go and stand, like be alone or something. And I walked back, like where our car was coming from. I walked back from where we were coming from, and then as I walked back, I saw this uncompleted building. There was a road, like a small road there, so I decided to pass there. And so when I passed there, I saw this kid standing on in the uncompleted building, and I asked her that, like, does this place lead to anywhere? And she was like, yes. And so I followed the path, and I got into another road. So when I got into another road, and I think my church members started calling, I looked backwards and I saw like a crowd running towards my direction. And so I was exhausted, so I just stood there, and as they approached me, I joined them, like, to walk together. So we got to T junction, and some of them passed downward and some passed upward. So I just followed the people that used the downward road, and then it started drizzling. I was just walking, and everybody was just staring at me like I was some sort of alien or some sort of foreigner. You know, everybody was just staring at me. And so I crossed the road to the other side. That was when my friend called me. I was like, why, where has he been? I've been calling him. And it was like, he's sorry. Actually, when he escorted me, he was going to get food, and then the explosion also happened. So where he was, it was crazy. He didn't even get a car to come back. He had to walk home. So, and he left his phone in the house. So he left his phone in the house. He just got home. And I'm like, okay. And he asked me where I am, and I said, I don't know. So I tried to find people to talk to him so that they tell him where I was. But nobody was willing to. Those that was actually approaching, nobody was willing to. So I just kept on walking, and I got to a point. I saw these two men, and they asked me to come. So I went and I greeted them, and I told them, can they speak to a friend for me? They said yes. So one took the phone and told him where I was there for a while, and then finally I saw my friend coming. So he approached me and was like, he asked how I'm doing, and I'm like, I'm fine, I'm okay. I think it was him, a friend of his, I think one lady, and myself. So the four of us, we went to his place. I think the other lady was actually staying around, so she left us. Okay, so it was left with just me and the two guys, like my friend and his friend. So we got there, and then he gave me a place to sit. I don't even remember eating that day. He turned on the television, and they were showing the explosion. So I was just sitting there watching. I felt so numb, you know, like I was just sitting there so quietly, just watching the television, you know. And I remember they gave lights out, and he went to turn on the generator. But then the noise was just disturbing to me because of what has just happened. In his room, he had two beds. So I think they were tired, so they decided to go to bed, and they asked me to use the other bed. So as I was sitting down, my sister called me. So I think the last person I spoke to was my boyfriend, and that was that. So I think around 3-4, that was when I felt like sleeping, and I went to sleep. Up around 9, I left his place and I went home. That day actually resulted into a whole lot of different things. It made me lose people. It made me get people. It changed my perspective on certain things. It actually transformed me into the person I am today. Like, what I'm gonna leave you with today is that just be grateful anytime you wake up in the morning. Be thankful to God through Jesus. Just love yourself, live in the moment, and just allow the next day to take care of itself. I wasn't better off than those that lost their lives that day or those that got injured that day. But I just happened to be favored. I'm thankful for God for everything that happened in my life after that day. Well, if this video did impacted you in a way, please do well to like, and also if you haven't subscribed yet, do well to subscribe and be a part of the family. And don't forget to turn on the notification bar so anytime I post a video, you will be notified. Thanks for watching. Bye.